Hello, everyone. Today, I think will be the third episode for my solo podcast, and I'm going to be talking about certain types of eggs in general that are edible that you can eat, and like their benefits and nutritional value, and possibly some alternatives that you can look into for other health benefits or, you know, to ill as forms of ailments for other kinds of, problems that you might have, you know, because a lot of these actually have benefits that people don't know about. You know. So let's get started. So first off, we have the chicken egg, right? But we're gonna be talking about raw chicken egg in specific, right? Because the regular chicken eggs that are in like grocery stores and stuff like that, unfortunately, are not. It depends on what kind of um eggs you're getting, right? I mean, I know there's like pasteurized, cage-free, caged, right? But obviously, like in general, I would probably avoid those types of eggs, right? Not necessarily just because they're not optimal, but also because the foods those chickens are eating aren't necessarily the best. And in general, you want to be eating foods that are actually optimal if you can, right? But I will say is that unlike milk, the eggs are not necessarily as harmful as like grocery store eggs, right? They're just not as beneficial. That's more so what I mean, right? But with raw chicken eggs, if we're going to be talking about them in specific, right? There are actually a lot of white vitamins, nutrients, and antioxidants found in raw chicken eggs, right? For example, there's something called lutein and z zeaxanthin. I believe that's how you pronounce it, right? Which are basically like two important antioxidant, right? They specifically protect your eye, and in general, like any like eye-related disease you might have, right? Less likely to basically occur. Right? So if you have any eye issues, right, raw chicken eggs might actually be able to help those, right? And on top of that, raw eggs can also help with your heart, right? They're actually good for your heart in general. So if you have heart issues as well, raw chicken eggs can help with that, right? And on top of that, these raw chicken eggs, like I said, they have way more nutrients, right? And minerals, like, they have things such as vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin E, and even omega-3 fatty acids, right? And they also have a lot less saturated fat and cholesterol in general. Now, I know a lot of people think cholesterol is bad, but not necessarily. You know what I mean? There's like this whole like, I guess like propaganda that cholesterol is bad, but not necessarily, right? There's good cholesterol, right? That actually is good for you, right? Right. And on top of that, right, like a lot of these like raw chicken eggs in general, right? If they're also grass fed like eggs, like in a way like the chickens are eating something that's more natural rather than something that's synthetic, you know. And one thing that's also interesting is that the egg yolk from these chickens are actually really rich in fertility boosting things, right? So if you have fertility problems, this will actually be really good for that, right? So omega-3 fatty acids, right, like EPA and DHA, as well as fat solubles, right? Like I mentioned, vitamin A, D, E, and even K2, right? Which is interesting, right? But that's probably why you should probably consider getting some raw chicken eggs, because that will probably be the easiest one on this list to get, if we want to be honest here. Right? But in general, when I'm talking about the eggs on this list and in this video, I'm just referencing raw eggs in general. Like, that's what I'm referencing, right? Not pasteurized or anything like that. Also, like the next egg I'm going to be talking about is duck eggs. Now, duck eggs are actually beneficial, more beneficial than even chicken eggs, right? At least in some regard, right? They hold a lot more antioxidants, right? More omega-3 fatty acids and 50% more vitamin A than chicken eggs, right? Duck eggs obviously are also bigger than chicken eggs, and they have more fat, more cholesterol, more protein, and calories than chicken eggs, right? Again, this might sound scary if you're afraid of fat or cholesterol. But again, like I said, there's like these, there's like this propaganda that fat in food or cholesterol is bad. Not if it's coming from an organic source, not necessarily is it bad. You know, it's from unfortunately a lot of the store-bought stuff that like, the fat, right, is actually bad. Or cholesterol might be bad, right? And the funny thing is the cholesterol-free or fat-free stuff is actually worse sometimes. Right. And then on top of that, a duck egg contains 130 calories, right? Whereas, a really large chicken egg is about 80, right? And it has 9 grams of protein. Think about that. 9 grams of protein in a duck egg compared to like a chicken egg which has 7, right? Right. On top of that, you know, like I said, they have more protein, and there's even tend to have a higher amount of nutrients like folate, iron, and vitamin B12. So if you're lacking in any of these, like an iron deficiency, right, or vitamin B12, right, because some people do have, a lacking in that, that is also very good as well. Duck eggs also have 168% more DV, I mean, for vitamin B12. Right, so again, a good source of vitamin B12 if you're lacking in that. They also have a lot more selenium, right, which actually is good if you have any DNA damage, which I mean, I don't know where you're getting that from, right? Maybe from radiation or something, right? But if you have that, it apparently repairs your DNA, which is actually kind of interesting, right? And it basically plays a role in fertility, right? So again, if you have fertility problems, eggs do tend to be a good source, especially duck eggs, right? The next egg we're going to be talking about is the largest egg in the world, right? Ostrich eggs, right? And from what I know about ostrich eggs is that apparently the egg is just so big that it actually might take you a couple of days to finish, right? Like, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to finish it all in one just because the egg is just so big, right? Ostrich eggs contain around, this is what I read online, apparently 2,000 calories on average, as well as 235 grams of protein, right? So, I mean, it's probably why, like, you will not be able to finish it in one sitting. I mean, that's a lot of protein right there, right? And then on top of that, there's a lot more vitamin E. Wait, no, no. So there's less vitamin E, but it's richer in both magnesium and iron, right? And it has, the crazy thing is that ostrich eggs have no sodium in them, which is interesting, right? Not to say that sodium is bad, but you know, some people might want to avoid the sodium for some reason, right? There could be good alternative for that, right? And also, it has a lot more essential minerals like iron, magnesium, and than like a chicken egg would. But the only downside is that it has less vitamin A and E, right? Now, the um, next two eggs I'm gonna talk about are actually found in the sea, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't, I guess I included them just because, they're eggs technically, but yeah, I don't know if I'll make a separate video for fish eggs. I'll think about that. But the next egg I'm going to be talking about is caviar, right? And a lot of you might be thinking, oh, caviar is really expensive. Like, wow, why would this be on the list? Well, it's not as expensive as you would think. I used to think that it was like thousands of dollars, but I looked it up, and apparently, like, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's like, it's like where it's affordable, and it's not something you can actually get. Right? It's only $100 for like a tin, right? So it's not like it's impossible to get. Right? It's just unfortunately it is still a lot, but definitely you'll probably be able to get it still. And what's interesting about caviar is that it has anti-aging effects, right? So if you're trying to look younger, this is great. This is actually great for that. And it's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, right? Apparently, they say caviar can actually improve skin, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if this stuff is probably used in like, some skin creams, right? Right. It says that it improves mental health, maintaining a healthy mind, right? Improves heart health, prevents plaquette formation, which again, I probably need to look into what that is. But lowers blood pressure, improves blood cholesterol, improves fertility, supports immune system, right? So caviar eggs, right? They actually already have a lot of benefits, right? Right, and it has double the daily vitamin B12 needs that you would might need, right? Right, as well, it can also apparently increase the production of DNA and red blood cells, right, which is interesting, right? By default, if you're increasing your red blood cells, your cardio does go up, right? Right, right. It has fatty acids like DHA and EPA, right? Also has selenium, iron, sodium, and other vitamins and minerals, right? So if you want anything that like if you're lacking in any of these things, right, caviar actually might be a good solution for that, right? Right. It's also interesting that it can actually improve, like your skin to the point that it's like an anti-aging effect, right? So if you're insecure about looking older, this might be um, a good, cure for that, pretty much, right? And it says that, oh yeah, this is actually really a big one, right? So researchers have speculated that reducing inflammation in the brain can reduce mental health decline in basically with people with Alzheimer's disease, right? Right. So this is what caviar does, right? Apparently, like if you or someone you know that has Alzheimer's, right, which is an unfortunate condition, right? Apparently, caviar can actually help with that. So maybe you might want to look into that. Studies have also found that people with depression often have lower levels of omega-3 fatty acids, right? So if you increase your omega fatty 3 acids, right, intake, right, which caviar provides and the other eggs also provide, you'll definitely be able to, you know, decrease your depression by a lot, right? And the best part is that there are no side effects, right? Right, right. Unlike a lot of the antidepressant medications that they give you, right, that are made out of like lab concocted stuff, that's just it's not good for you, right? And it's actually been shown to be more effective than those antidepressant medications. I'm surprised that nobody actually talks about this. It's actually crazy that caviar can actually, improve, like, basically decrease depression to that much of an extent, and also help with Alzheimer's diseases, right? It's actually quite interesting when you look into things, like, you'll realize, like, a lot of things within nature, like, can actually help with, you know, in general, it can basically help with, like, the problems you might have, right? Or improve certain things even more, right? And then on top of that, this is another side benefit, like I mentioned earlier, right? Right, they actually conducted a study, a 12-week study on women that were 35, right? Who had like basically moderate to mild signs of skin aging, right? Right. And then they put, you know, a serum with caviar in it, right? And supposedly it improves skin smoothness, firmness, and dryness, along with fine lines and crow's feet. Right. This actually might be something I might look into, you know, because I am trying to make an organic company where I want to be, this is probably just a side thing, like that I'll mention real quick. But basically, I'm going to be making an organic company, and in that company, I'm going to be making a bunch of organic products, like, creams, perfumes, deodorants, just shampoo, conditioner, like soaps, like a bunch of stuff. Basically, is my goal, right? So, inshallah, like I'm gonna be looking into that and making it soon. You know, that's probably the main reason why I haven't been making these episodes a lot, right? But like I'm gonna be looking into maybe adding even caviar into this stuff. We'll see. You know, hey, but we're gonna move on to the next egg, octopus eggs. Like, and I actually looked into this. Apparently, octopus is actually halal, right? So be halal, right? Because it technically counts as seafood, right? Now I don't want to get into a whole debate about the fifth thing here, right? Do your research. You'll find it, right? You'll find the evidence that says it's halal, okay? But basically, we're talking about octopus eggs, right? Right? Because apparently, octopus eggs are actually a good source of, for various nutrients like protein, vitamins, and minerals that provide essential amino acids, right, for your body to grow and repair, right? So apparently, if you don't know this, protein is made out of amino acids. Amino acids basically help build your muscle, right? So basically, it helps with that, right? Octopus eggs contain omega-3 fatty acids, and they can actually support heart health and brain health. Think about that. So your brain and your heart helps with both of those. And octopus eggs are relatively low in calories, right? So that's also another good thing is that maybe you're on a cut or you want to be low in calories. Octopus eggs might actually be a good solution for that. And like I said, octopus eggs are rich in protein, right? Right. So maybe you look into this. The octopus eggs might actually be, pretty decent for you. Right. Now we're gonna be getting back to the birds, right, and those eggs, right? Right. So the next egg I'm gonna mention is turkey eggs. Right. Turkey eggs they have 135 calories, 11 grams of protein, right, which is pretty insane. 9 grams of fat, right? They're a great source of protein, as well as iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12. Turkey eggs are quite, obviously they're bigger than chicken eggs by like 50%, right? Right. The only thing is that they contain twice as much cholesterol, right? Again, there's agenda that cholesterol is bad. You look into it, like, it's not as bad as you think it is, right? It's just rich propaganda, in my opinion, right? Next egg we're going to be talking about is goose eggs, right? Goose eggs have 266 calories, right? And 19.5 grams of protein, which is insane, right? I don't know what it is up with a lot of these eggs. They have a lot of protein, right? If you need protein, probably you need to be eating eggs, right? Right. But basically, goose eggs actually have, you know, iron as well, omega-3 fats, vitamin A, vitamin B, and folate, as well as vitamin D, and a lot of calcium in general, right? This, the shell is obviously more thicker than chicken eggs, and it can take quite an effort to break one, you know, which is actually right. Apparently a duck egg is 50% bigger. Like, how I told you before? Right, a duck egg is 50% bigger, right? Than a jumbo chicken egg, right? A goose egg is even bigger than that duck egg by twice the size, right? Right. And then on top of that, duck eggs have selenium and vitamin B12, right? I don't know why, but a lot of, vegans do tend to lack vitamin B12, right? And unfortunately, they get it from a synthetic source, which I think is not that smart, you know? And it's not as efficient in my opinion, right? And the next egg we'll be talking about is probably the one that I kind of like my research on. I actually found a lot on this one, right? Quail eggs, right? And the funny thing is, I used to have quails, right? A long time ago, back in like, I don't know, like back in like sixth grade, right? I had a lot of birds in general, pets. But quails, I had a lot, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, I don't think we ever tried the eggs, but I did try the meat. It's really good. All right. And there's a lot of benefits in this, like we're about to find out. It has vitamin B12, selenium, riboflavin, and choline, right? Along with some iron. All right. In general, they have about 14 calories, right? And selenium, right? And what's actually quite interesting is that quail eggs can reverse cellular damage and treat allergy symptoms, right? So if you have cellular damage, right, maybe from radiation or something, right? Maybe you have allergy symptoms, right? Right. If you're allergic to anything, right? Maybe quail eggs might actually be good for that. You know. I mean, I did mention two seafood options earlier, or two seafood eggs, right? Maybe eat some quail eggs and build up, and an immunity to seafood if you have seafood allergies, right? And then try, caviar or whatever, octopus eggs, right? Right. They also contain brain nutrients, right? That a lot of people are actually deficient in, right? Right. Actually, quail eggs also improve your metabolism, right? So if you have poor metabolism, it improves it, promotes bone growth, helps to speed up recovery, right? Beneficial for the respiratory system, help in maintaining regular sugar levels in the blood, helps relieve depression, right? Just like earlier. Detoxes the body, boosts concentration. Again, anti-aging properties, right? Perfect for a protein-based diet. Improves skin health, treats acne, right? Makes your nail shine and reduces hair loss and helps control dandruff. Think about that, right? All these benefits in quail eggs. I'm surprised that not a lot of people talk about this, right? And in my opinion, I feel like quails aren't even that hard to keep, because I've had them, right? Especially for like a bigger complex if you have one. But in my opinion, it's probably easier to raise a quail than a chicken. And I'm not sure how many eggs quails lay, but it's a good amount. I'm surprised they don't sell them in stores. You know. On top of that, you know, quail eggs are proven to reduce the risk of osteoporosis, right? Right, and reduces the risk of bone weakening diseases, right? So again, right, I've kind of looked into bone research a lot, right, and it's actually quite crazy that it can reduce quail osteoporosis, right? And just like how we're looking into, remember in the the milk video that I made previously, it's about how certain milks can actually fight against cancer and other things, right? What's interesting about eggs, a lot of them are great for your skin and for your bone development, right? Right. It also contains zinc and potassium, right? Right. And it's been proven to assist damaged cells in the regenerating process. So if you have damaged cells, it's good, you know, for that. All right. It can also help with, illnesses like the flu or the cold, right? It basically helps you maintain a healthy respiratory system. It's actually so crazy. Quail eggs can do so much, yet like it's not on the market. Not to the level that other things are, right? It's sad, really, right? Quail eggs have been found efficient in regulating sugar levels in our blood due to their low glycemic index, right? So if you have blood issues, again, quail eggs are really good. Their amino acids in the diet can help patients with diabetes to cope with the dysfunction, right? So if you have diabetes, quail eggs help with that really well. On top of that, quail eggs have been found to be rich in antidepressants, right? Again, you know, just like the egg from earlier I mentioned, antidepressants, right? With the organic company, I might, who knows, we'll see. I might make like an organic form of an antidepressant, you know. right? With combining with other things that are organic, you know. Quail eggs have been found effective in eliminating toxins from our body. Due to the high levels of the antioxidants, quail eggs keep free radicals at bay. It's actually crazy. Moreover, being 60% water, right? It can actually help promote bowel movements and cleansing. So again, if you have any bowel problems, I guess this is good for that as well, right? I mean, and this is just scratching the surface of what quail eggs can do, right? So look into this that I'm about to read, right? Quail eggs can also be efficient to improve our cognitive function, right? Can also reduce the risk of neurological diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or dementia, right? It's three major diseases, people have that really affect the mind a lot. Quail eggs can actually help with that, right? It's unfortunate that nobody actually looks into these, things, right? You know, so I mean, what I recommend is like, sharing this video with a lot of people, right? Especially people like the illnesses that I mentioned, right? Share it with those people, right? Or to their family members, right? So that they can actually hop on some of this stuff, right? Or at least try to look for some of this stuff, right? On top of that, the antioxidants help in regenerating damaged cells and reducing signs of aging, such as wrinkles. Again, who knows? I might make a cream out of this, right? With other stuff, of course, right? Quail eggs have 2% more protein than chickens and higher levels of vitamins and nutrients. Quail eggs have 80% more B vitamin or vitamin B than chicken eggs. This vitamin is responsible for keeping high levels of energy, right? Right, which obviously it's gonna help in the gym if you were lifting a lot, or it can also be efficient in reducing excess oil secretion, right? So if you have really oily skin, quail eggs can help with that. Sure, right. It's also great at reducing the breakage, right? Reducing breakage and make your nails shine, right? So if you have nail problems or whatever, right, or you want better nails, right? Probably more of a thing for women, right? But it'll help with that. It reduces hair loss and promotes growth, right? And health. The nutrients in the quail eggs improve the blood circulation in the scalp. Think about that, man. Quail eggs help with hair loss. Moreover, quail eggs are rich in sulfur, a moderate amount of which have been proven to prevent hair breakage and splitting. Right. So if you have hair breakage or hair splitting, quail eggs help with that. Quail eggs provide all the nutrients you need for a homemade, natural dandruff therapy that works. While being a great source of protein to strengthen our bones, nails, and teeth, they're also great for beauty. Right? I mean, it's just crazy how many benefits quail eggs have. It's a shame, really, that this information isn't something that is promoted a lot, you know, or it's not even something that a lot of doctors will look into, right? The next egg we're gonna be talking about is emu eggs, right? So emu again, like, it's another type of bird. I believe it's the second largest bird, right behind the ostrich, right? Right. Obviously, like it's a pretty big egg, bigger than that of a chicken, right? But they contain about this is based on percentage for some reason, but they have 15.54% protein, right? Which again, I don't know, unfortunately, how many grams that is, but you know, contains all 8 essential amino acids. You know, the yolk is apparently paler and has 30% higher concentration of lipid protein. They're much higher in MUFAs and PUFAs, fatty acids, right? Also higher in selenium, magnesium, iodine, and iron. They also have a unique composition, right? So it has albumin, right, which is a main protein in the human blood, right, and is important to regular blood pressure. Again, if you have blood pressure, look into emu eggs, right? That's EMU, right? Not like emos, but emu, right? Which I believe is an Australian type of bird. It's just a very big bird, right? All right. Apparently, the yolk that's in these emu eggs is 45% of the egg, which is crazy. Apparently they say that taking an emu egg is like taking a shortcut because you're getting the entire omega fatty acid chain in a single food. Right? Basically, it's the equivalent of about 10 regular chicken eggs. It's insane. Emu eggs contain 31% saturated and 68% unsaturated fats. Emu eggs contain fatty acids including, omega 9, omega 6, and omega 3, making it popular as a natural skin moisturizer. Health benefits from using emu oil, right? Apparently, you can make an oil out of this egg, right? Citing anti-inflammation properties and relief from muscle soreness, insect bites, sunburns, and a host of other ailments, which is crazy. I'm actually in the process of making an organic sunscreen. I don't know if I'll use emu eggs. We'll see how hard it is to get that, right? But it does apparently help with that, you know. And on top of that, muscle soreness, insect bites. That's crazy. You can also apparently they also use emu eggs in soaps and shampoos and lotions. Right? Again, crazy. Probably look into maybe using it. Again, depends on how hard it is to get this stuff. But let me know, like, would you guys like if it's the ultimate product? Like, would you guys actually pay? Be willing to pay? You know what I mean? For it's because I mean it's not gonna be cheap, unfortunately. If I use like, the best of the best, right? But yeah, even the one that I'm working on right now, it still works. It's just not as expensive, unfortunately. And then now the next move egg we're gonna be moving on to is bantam eggs, right? So what exactly is a bantam, right? Basically, it's like a smaller chicken, right? Right. It's basically you know, two bantam eggs. Also, the egg is smaller, right? I did forget to mention also quail eggs are smaller as well, right? Two bantam eggs actually equal one chicken egg, right? And apparently the yolk tends to be larger and richer in certain like minerals and proteins. Right? There's not much information on what I could find on bantam eggs, but you know, it might be like if you're trying not to eat as much uh, calories, this might actually be a better alternative. And the next egg we're gonna be talking about is something called guinea fowl. So guinea fowl eggs are rich in protein, omega-3, vitamin B complex, choline, vitamin A, and several other minerals. Right? And apparently guinea fowl eggs um had the highest total amino acid score, right? So there's a score for amino acids. Guinea fowl was at the highest, right? Followed by, right, if you want to know the order, right, it's followed by 82.82, right? Quail, right? So actually, guinea fowl, the score for the amino acid score is 0.92, right? For guinea fowl. The next is 0.82 for quail, 0.81 for turkey, 0.75 for basically raw chicken eggs, right? And for the store-bought ones, it's 0.65, right? Guinea fowl eggs are high in protein, rich in fat. The good kind, right? That's what it says actually. In parentheses, it says the good kind have a low value of carbohydrates, are rich in the calcium, and have a high value of zinc, right? And of course, they're also high in potassium, sodium, and iron, right? Right? And because of these things, right, guinea fowl eggs can actually help regulate your muscle contraction, nerve signals, and fluid balance, right? These also have, you know, vitamin D, vitamin B6, and vitamin K, right? And on top of that, it has calcium, folate, selenium, and phosphorus, right? And then which basically, also on top of that, guinea fowl eggs are beneficial for enhancing like vision, reproduction, and strengthening the immune system, right? Again, vitamin D in guinea fowl eggs helps regulate phosphate levels in your blood. I mean, in your body, right? Helps to provide your body with the proteins it needs to help blood clotting, right? So if you know someone that has blood clotting, maybe get them guinea fowl eggs, right? Or at least recommend it to them, right? And these eggs can also reduce oxidative stress in your body, right? So if you have stress, right, it can reduce that as well. It also helps form the teeth and bones, right, in your body. They're also rich in healthy cholesterol. So basically the good kind of cholesterol, right? One guinea fowl egg contains around 212 milligrams of cholesterol, right, which is half that of a chicken egg, right? It also contain high amounts of HDL, which is a good cholesterol, right? These eggs are pretty healthy for everyone, including those with weight issues and high cholesterol, right? So even if you're a little overweight, this is actually good for you as well, right? On top of that, diabetics can also consume I mean, guinea fowl eggs without experiencing severe side effects. So again, maybe the other eggs might not work, right? But guinea fowl eggs could work if you have diabetes, right? So maybe look into this, right? And because of the choline that's in these eggs, right, it's actually beneficial for building cell membrane, right? Nutrients helps trigger brain molecules, keeping your brain healthy, right? And then, you know, because guinea fowl eggs contain 100 milligrams of choline, right? Right, and it also reduces your risk of heart illnesses, right? Right. So if you have any heart problems, right, like I said earlier, maybe you had, a stroke in the past or a heart attack or whatever it was, guinea fowl eggs might actually be a good way to reduce that risk by a lot. The next one is actually going to be a funny one, but it's seagull eggs, right? Right. Apparently, people eat these, right? I actually never really did think about this, but apparently, like this is a thing, right? But there's actually benefits to this, like seagull eggs are rich in vitamin D, right? Right, they're rich in protein, vitamins, and minerals, low in calories and fats, right? So I mean, this is a great choice, especially if you're overweight, right? You're trying to look at for your calorie intake. Seagull eggs might be an alternative that you might want to look into. The next egg we're gonna be talking about is something called pheasant eggs, right? Pheasant eggs are basically they're rich in amino acids, vitamin B, and vitamin D, right? These nutrients strengthen your muscles, brain, skin, and nervous systems, and bone, right? All right. On top of that, all these, proteins with essential amino acids, fats, and cholesterol, right? And then on top of that, these pheasant eggs have iron, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and zinc. Pheasant eggs contain unsaturated, saturated fat, and cholesterol, right? And then on top of that, they have more vitamins overall, more fat, and possibly more calories than chicken eggs, right? And apparently, there's not too much known on pheasant eggs, right? But they say it's a good source of choline, omega-3 fatty acids, and possibly vitamin A and D. So that's interesting, is that you see, this is the thing, is that a lot of these scientists are not putting research into something like this, right? Because who knows what else pheasant eggs can do, right? This is just scratching the surface, right? And maybe there's like other things that this egg can, like, cure or help with, right? Like, we talk about the other eggs that can help with Alzheimer's or diabetes, right? Or other stuff, right? Who knows what pheasant eggs can help with, right? So, you definitely look into adding this into your diet. Last, this is gonna be like the last egg, but not least egg, right? That we're gonna be mentioning is pigeon eggs, right? And the interesting thing is actually, I used to actually have pigeon and doves at one point, or the same time that I had quail eggs, right? I mean, I never ate the eggs for pigeon eggs, but we did have a couple of them hatch. I do remember that, you know. So it's interesting that you can actually eat these eggs. So basically, these eggs actually have less fats, right? And they're denser than chicken eggs, right? Which apparently makes them good for flavor. They're rich in vitamin B1 and come with many digestive and cardiac benefits, right? So if you have want to improve your digestive health and your cardiac health, right? Pigeon eggs, right? And apparently, what's actually quite interesting is that the ancient Chinese actually uh, referred to it as the animal ginseng, right? Right, because according to them, it had the ability to fortify the kidney, and like one of the other benefits that they mention is mild soothing heat, removing toxins, nourishing the kidney, and benefiting the body. Right, this is something even the Chinese used. Right, it's kind of interesting. Does China actually have pigeons? Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? I mean, pigeons are pretty much almost anywhere. And then pigeon eggs are a good source of protein. So they have vitamin B12, iron, and zinc. Pigeon eggs contain, 9.5% protein. Again, I don't know why it's in percentages, but it is. 6.4% carbohydrates, right? And on top of that, it has calcium, iron, and phosphorus, right? It actually contains 5 times the amount of iron and potassium that are contained in chicken eggs. And on top of that, it doesn't cause allergic reactions that chicken eggs might cause in some people, right? Which I think, honestly, like the chicken egg thing, it's probably more so from the store bought than like regular bought, if we're gonna be honest here, right? But like, for argument's sake, if you didn't have, a very severe chicken egg, maybe it's like yeah, even your allergic reaction maybe even works on raw chicken eggs, right? If you really want eggs, like you should maybe look into pigeon eggs, right? Because apparently eating these does not cause an allergic reaction, right? In fact, pigeon eggs actually help fight allergic diseases, right? That's actually quite interesting. Right? So if you have allergies, again, I believe there was another egg I mentioned earlier that actually does fight uh, allergies, right? And what's actually interesting is that the Chinese and the Arabs actually use these pigeon eggs and medicine, right, to help with something called rhinitis, I believe, and asthma, skin diseases, skin and hair loss, right? Apparently, it helps with all that. And apparently, it's actually useful for improving speech in children, right? And it gets rid of stuttering, right? So some people they might have a stuttering problem even as an adult. I mean, it says that you probably cure that with some pigeon eggs, and on top of that, it's useful for enhancing men's sexual ability when it's mixed with unmixed, right? Yeah, I mean, basically, it's and all around like has a lot of things. Pigeon egg contains 140% vitamin B1, while a chicken egg contains only 50%. It's actually insane. They're also effective at treatment for digestive disorders such as gastritis and ulcers. Right. So if you have any of those problems, pigeon eggs will help with that. It can help treat anemia, increase in the hemoglobin levels, and eliminate toxics and heavy metals in the body. Right. It's actually a big problem today nowadays is that unfortunately, like things like microplastics and heavy metals, especially, are in the body. Right. I don't even know why they're putting this stuff in the food, right? But for some reason, like you know, heavy metals, right? Because I believe it's titanium dioxide they actually put, which again is a heavy metal they put in the body, right? Right, and this pigeon eggs can actually get rid of that, right? On top of that, eating pigeon eggs helps treat tuberculosis, asthma, and bronchitis. Damn. So it's like all these things. It reduces the occurrence of cancer and fight tumors. It's actually insane. Hmm. If it can get rid of cancer, what I wonder is let me think. So basically, if it can get rid of cancer, it can and fight tumors, right? It gets rid of liver, gallbladder, and kidney stones, right? It's actually insane, honestly. Yeah, it can actually help with all that. Um, yeah, I mean, basically, it can help fight cancer, which is actually insane. I wonder if you would mix this with the yak milk and like whatever else in nature that helps. You probably create like you know the ultimate like thing combat cancer. Right. On top of that, it helps the body recover after a stroke. Right. So bear with me. I'm about to read a lot. Right. So pay attention to this. So apparently, pigeon eggs help the body recover after a stroke, where it strengthens the heart muscle, activate memory, and improve the work of the nervous system, strengthening of the immune system, and prevention in the body. It benefits the skin and improves its color and eliminates melasma and blemishes, strengthening hair follicles because it contains large amounts of protein useful for hair. It contains high levels of phosphate, which is a major component of DNA. It is high in good HDL cholesterol, which balances out bad LDL cholesterol, rich in vitamin A, which is very important for healthy sight and vision, blood formation, skin, and cell health. It's just insane, right? It's actually quite insane that all these things actually just from the eggs of like birds and seafood basically. But it's actually what I'm thinking about doing next. You know, is probably I'm gonna be making um another video, couple of other videos on meat, right? So like the best meats, the best uh, maybe vegetables or fruits, right? And I might instead of meats in the meats, I probably won't have seafood in there, but I'll probably make the best seafood, right? Like the types of seafoods that are actually good to eat and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean basically that's what I'll probably end up doing. But if you liked this video, please support the channel you know, send this video to someone that it actually might help with, right? Right? Especially, some of the cancer stuff or asthma or, diabetes, Alzheimer's, all this stuff, right? Just, just from eggs, right? But, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.